Hey y'all, and welcome to Stivers Homestead. I'm Zach, and today I want to talk about something different. I want to do this video different. I'll get to the point here in just a minute. So one thing that we've always tried to be is very real. Show you the raw, candid version of what homestead life looks like, the ups and downs, literally everything. We want to try to be as transparent as possible, because we know if you're embarking on your homesteading journey, you're facing these things too. So just showing you what looks perfect and things going great isn't the way to do things. Because if we just show you what's perfect, when you have an issue that comes up on your own homestead or whatever you're doing in life, you're gonna feel like a failure. You're gonna feel like you failed because you're like, why am I not doing everything right like everybody else that I'm seeing on TV or that I'm talking to? And it's because as humans, we only wanna share the good. We only wanna share when things are going right. We get embarrassed, or we're not ready for the comments, or one of those factors for us to not show any negative. But today we're gonna show you the negative, just so you can connect and know that you're not alone. First on the docket, Miss Dolly. See her backside? Looking a lot better now, but let me tell you about that one. That dog is so stubborn that anything and everything we did to keep her away from Benny, she wouldn't do it. Once she got in heat, she found every possible path to get to him and get herself pregnant again. So we have a new litter of puppies. Perfectly fine. We didn't want her to get pregnant again, and we're gonna solve that problem now. However, we've got 6 puppies. Well, Dolly's also really bad about cleaning herself. Benny, on the other hand, he's a stud. He knows how to keep himself clean, how to bathe himself, how to just take care of himself. Dolly isn't. Well, when she had those babies, we were actually gone for the weekend, just the weekend little trip down to Tennessee, and she did not clean up the birthing residue off her body. She didn't worry about cleaning that up. So once we got back, just in those couple days, she got a yeast infection on the backside of her body because all that wetness was just sitting on it and just kind of causing a yeast infection. So when we got home, we had to cut off all the hair on the backside of her back. I mean, to completely expose the skin and everything. Like, we had to get rid of all of it. We treated it, got it taken care of. She's perfectly fine, but now the hair's growing back and she looks weird. So that's one thing that normally most people would probably avoid showing, because immediately the question's gonna be, what's wrong with your dog? Is she sick? What's happening? No, she just didn't treat herself. We had to treat it, but now she's in this fugly period for a little bit, then until she gets herself healed again. Those are one of those things that probably wouldn't be shown. Second on the docket, see all these little pretty goats? I don't know. How are you? Besides her, and her, we have the elderly group of goats. They are old goats. They've been around for a long time, and they're starting to get into their retirement phase. If y'all been around for a while, y'all know Butters is one of the oldest goat, or the oldest goat that we have. She was our first milk goat that we ever had. This one right here tried to die on us. We got her back to health, but she looked awful. So in this content creation world, one of those things is show the goats less, because it's gonna be like, what's wrong with that goat? Why is it sick? You're doing this wrong. It's all the, you don't know what you're doing. You need to do this and that, without even like questioning, like, well, maybe they are doing that. The thing about health and animals is it takes time. So for Ethel example, the one I said that just tried to die, she came down. We do a natural dewormer, Molly's Herbals, but sometimes that doesn't always work, especially when it's really, really rainy. And this spring, all we had was rain. So our best assumption is that she picked up a parasite of some form. And if a goat doesn't get up, especially when it's feeding time, you need to address it. You need to address it quickly, because once they're down, they don't really get up. So we nursed her back to health. We got her some dewormer in her. We were giving her some probiotics. We was making sure to tend to her, and that lasted about a month. And then finally she got back up and she's doing well. She's eating again, but she lost a lot of weight during that time. So during that time, her ribs are showing really bad. We know that she is nursing herself back and she's getting better, but to the naked eye, she's not. Something's wrong. But it's like, no, let me try to explain what we're doing. And all of that is very difficult to do. So I understand why content creators don't always like to show the negative, but I guarantee you, if you had that information and you've got goats, that maybe could have helped you save a goat. And so first off, I apologize for not showing it, because I should have. Next up, the garden. And it's probably one of my most embarrassing things that I could say. And, you know, even family and friends, they joke and kind of pick fun and make fun because of this. Let me just show you. This is the big garden. Not a single ounce of that is a plant. Those are all weeds that are in the garden. Isn't that right, Rusty? Isn't that right? However, I did plant the kitchen garden. I got all my zinnias because they make me happy. I love them. They get some marigolds in here. By the way, for people that were wondering, that morning glory or whatever these are, my plan's working. They're not choking out the zinnias, but they're growing up them and just kind of giving a pretty purple color with everything. We got a sunflower over there. We've got some tomatoes and more zinnias. And then I got a busted raised bed that went down. So what happened? Well, first off, our pantry is completely full. It is completely full in there, and there's, I mean, we can move to the basement. But I guess in my head, I was like, I didn't have this drive to want to grow a ginormous garden. Because one, it's hard to give it away, even around here. And two, I was like, what are we gonna do with it? Like, are we gonna can it? We're gonna keep freeze drying it and all this stuff. And then just to be completely honest with you, I think I lost a little of that passion this year for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because we've been working so hard doing this for so long. I didn't have a huge passion to get in there and weed out these big garden beds, plant them, and just handle that work this year. I don't know. Doesn't mean I don't still love gardening, and doesn't mean that I won't continue to garden basically for the rest of my life. It's just this year, I didn't want it to be so big. So maybe one of you have felt the same way. Maybe you didn't garden as hard as you gardened in the past. Doesn't mean that you're not gonna garden hard in the future, but maybe you've had people be like, oh, well, you've lost it. You don't have the drive for it anymore. You don't wanna do this anymore. You're not a homesteader. I feel you. You still are, because I still am. You got this. So what's my point and where am I getting at here? My point is, over the past couple months, especially once gardening season kicks in, because it's a gardener and a content creator's like worst habit to do, is they want to post the pretty picture. They want to post the Instagram worthy picture. And I can't believe in 2024 we still have this mindset to like want to show basically the 1% that is perfect and not show the other 99% to be able to connect with others. And because to me, when you show something perfect, all you're doing is discouraging someone else from either attempting it or think that they're failing because theirs don't look like yours. So for you that might feel that way, next time you see a picture of 10 tomatoes on a vine and they're all 100% ripe and perfect and there's not one bite on them, question that too. Don't just question politics. Question what you see on the content creation and who you're seeing it from, because it's unlikely. It might be even just a stock photo, because I mean, anybody can say, give me a pretty picture of tomatoes on a vine, right, on Google, and then be able to post it out there. So just be careful, watch what you're doing. Don't let yourself get discouraged by the stuff that you see on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere. Understand that nobody has this perfect, and if it looks perfect, they're just not showing you the problem. And so when you're not showing the problem, that's when we start getting that emotional feeling as the viewer saying, we're not good enough. But I'm telling you, you are good enough. And funny enough, I guarantee it, this video, as I'm shooting it, is not posted yet, but I can go ahead and tell you, if you go down in the comments right now, there are people that are telling us what to do differently just because of this video. And I think that is the battle between the content creator and the viewer, and the content creator wanting to just show the good stuff because of what we might face down in the comments. Now, we all try to ignore it, but sometimes it's easier to just not show what the comment might push. Just go look. I guarantee you there's some down there already. But that being said, I would rather take those comments to be able to relate to you, the viewer that's watching us, and be like, hey, we ain't got this stuff figured out. To me, it's all about finding joy. And as long as you're happy in what you're doing, don't judge yourself to others. Don't compare yourself to others. And then also know that there's always two stories behind a video or a picture. So just because it might look perfect, I promise you that doesn't mean it is. And especially when you have tough years. You know, it's been a tough year for us. We're actually getting very close to telling you all about this lawsuit that's coming, that we've been in, because I think might be starting to hit ahead. The loss of my dad, just trying to figure things out. You know, it's like you just don't have a whole lot of drive to do some of the things that you know you're passionate about, and you will be again, but just maybe not right now. And so it's okay if you don't can as much as you did last year. It's okay if your garden's not as big as it was last year. It's okay if you're downsizing animals because you're like, man, I might have just got too many. There might be too many here. That doesn't mean you failed. You're not a failure, and you are still a homesteader. Take homesteader out of it, whatever it is. I don't care. If you have passion in it and you still want it, you still are, because it's a mindset and in your heart, not just because of what people see. Believe me, I get the jokes all the time. I don't care. I'm still a homesteader. So y'all, keep your head up. Don't quit. Don't let this just be a phase if it is something that you have joy for, just because you feel like you're not doing it as good as somebody else. Keep pushing on. I promise you there'll be good seasons, there's gonna be bad seasons, and that's just unfortunately part of this lifestyle that we live. As I leave you, I'll show you the one last thing that most homesteaders don't show you. The junk pile. They all got one. They all got one. You got one too. You know it. Just not always on the angle, right? Today it is. We love y'all. Until the next one. Bye.